Hello everyone and welcome to a review about Flying Tank, which has a name that probably doesn't make it stand out to you. If you see that, you're probably thinking, why would I play this? Well, you should play it because it's freaking amazing. So the price is like $5, which is really low for the amount of quality, the amount of content that you are going to get. It's all very, very high quality. So you have like 16 levels in early access right now. All of them are pretty fun. Some of them start to get a little bit on the just kind of tough and annoying side, I would say, just because of the way that the enemies attack. And you have some attacks you can do that are down, attack down, but most of your attacks are going to be forward, and you know, so attacking things from the bottom is kind of a little bit of a frustrating experience. But there's several tanks that you can get in the game. I think I've actually unlocked all of the ones that are available right now. So in between missions, you get to come and you can choose your tank that you want to choose. I personally stuck with the first tank, the Interceptor. As you can see, I've leveled it almost all the way up. It was my favorite ship. It did really good. It was really all around, I think, just absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and just switch to this. I have finished what's available in early access, but I would like to, you know, at least show people kind of what they can expect with actual combat, because I think that's, you know, pretty important. But anyway, so one of the important things you're going to do is you're going to come here, you're going to upgrade your ship to however you want. You got some selections there, and you'll come and you'll just, you know, you'll choose your level that you want to do. They unlock. If the level is something you haven't done, it's going to look kind of like this one up here, except for it will be orange. I hopefully will pick up a level that isn't too difficult. I will choose this one. It's a night raid on the scavengers. This seems like it could be a level that I could do. But combat is pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty simple. You know, you come in here, you attack your enemies. I don't know that I'm like I don't think I'm like a super fan of the weapon choices I chose. I should have just stuck with the ship that I know and love, but I guess I wanted to do things a little bit different, so, you know, I'm gonna just explode myself. Which is fine, because then you can see how quickly you go from kind of being in the game to actually getting back into action. So I did switch over to easy mode just because I kept running into some issues where I was just getting utterly destroyed. All that easy mode does is it allows you to keep your biomass in between, you know, the different levels you're going through. So if you die, you don't lose any of your biomass, but there are upgrades that you can get when you're playing under normal that will make it so that you don't lose all of your biomass when you die, which I highly recommend you invest in, because it is definitely worth it to play in normal mode, because you get some nice achievements for a job well done, and it's just a lot of fun. I think it's an even amount of difficulty across both levels, but it's up to you on what you want to do. So the story plays through these cutscenes that you're going to experience as you run into different enemies, and also usually at the end of the level, and in some cases at the beginning of the levels. And the story is pretty good. Like, it's actually really in depth for a shoot 'em up. I don't think I've really seen a shoot 'em up that has such an intensive story with so much story content in a really long time. It is kind of your kind of typical story of, you know, aliens invade the planet, and, you know, you got your alien sympathizers, sort of, kind of. It's probably not sympathizers, it's probably not the right word, but it's more of like people that decide that they're going to side with the aliens. It's like, oh, why are you siding with the aliens? But I guess people do what they got to do to stay alive. And that's kind of the gist of it. for the story. It progresses as you play. You kind of hear new things about what's going on. I don't think it takes itself very serious. It's not, I wouldn't say whimsical, it's not really comedic in nature, but there's a couple of parts that are kind of funny, and partly, I don't know, it really doesn't feel too serious at times. But that is not to downplay how good the story is. It is very enjoyable. It is relatively well written. Because, like, everything makes sense. There's not a lot of places where you're like, why? Why would we do that? I think the only place that I was really questioning things was in the beginning, when they tell you, you know, don't fight the aliens unless you antagonize them, you know? Like, you don't have to fight them. And that's kind of like a misleading direction, because shortly after you're fighting the enemies, the aliens quite often, and it's just kind of like a weird thing that they went from that to, oh my gosh, we have to kill all the aliens as quickly as possible. So it's a weird switch, but it's not bad. Like, it's still really well told. Really enjoy the story. I think the story's great. But when we move into the part that everybody wants to know about is the gameplay. How is the gameplay? Well, I mean, you're seeing me play right now, and hopefully I'm doing a good enough job to show you that combat is relatively fast-paced. There's a lot going on. You really have to kind of make your decisions on what you want to do appropriately. You know, just like a lot of different things going on. A lot of variety in the enemies. I don't know for sure if I've chosen the right level to really kind of demonstrate all of the enemies. Because they don't all show up every level. There's a bit of variety, but the enemy design is really, really cool. I almost feel bad about killing some of the aliens because they'll make sounds that are kind of like, well, whales almost. Something mixed between a whale and a cat, I guess, and they sound really cool. The sound design is really awesome. The music, I think, could be a little bit better. Specifically, when I say the music could be better, I feel as though the loops are really short. Like, there's not a lot of depth in the music. It's not bad. It is certainly good music. It just doesn't have a lot going on. And if you're really listening to it, you kind of catch that it's maybe 10 to 15 seconds is what it feels like, and it just starts to loop back. Not every track is like that, but enough tracks are like that for you to kind of notice it. So the music, if you're going in for the music, that one might be a little bit of a sore point for you, because it just doesn't stand up to everything else that the game has. But back to the gameplay. The gameplay is, like I said, it's great. I mean, because you have so many options for the type of ship you're going to use, it really allows you to pick a playstyle that is going to work really well for you. I personally have found, like I said, the ship has been my favorite one, probably because, you know, it was the first ship that I used, and I got invested into it really early. You do start with 2 ships, so you kind of can choose whichever one you want in the beginning, but because of, you know, the fact that I used this ship so much in the beginning, it just became my favorite, and I can change the weapons into other things. It's just super easy to stick with what I like, and, you know, I think everyone is going to have their own variety of ships that they like. And one of the things you can do on normal mode is, if you happen to die, your ship will basically be put into a cooldown while it does repair. So you never really lose the ship. Any upgrades you've done, you're not going to lose those. You'll just have to basically choose another ship to fly around in until your current ship that you know, just lost to an explosive event, you know, is repaired. It's not something that I was a super fan of. I didn't really like it, which is part of the reason I also went to the easy mode, because I just wanted to jump back in and just kind of have a good time, and I think the game allows you to do that, and so I was just like, no harm done. It just works really, really well. And as you start to complete a level, which I'm not there yet, but you know, typically there will be some degree of a boss fight. Either you'll have a large horde of enemies, or in some cases you'll actually have a type of boss enemy, and the boss enemies are really cool the first time you experience them. After you've experienced them a couple of times, they become a little bit less cool because it's just kind of you're doing the same thing. You know, and maybe that first boss, first time you fought the boss, it was really cool because it was new and exciting. But as you play and you experience multiples of the same boss, it becomes a little bit less exciting. But I think that's just something you're going to run into with a shoot 'em up in general, and practically every game you will ever play, you're going to run into that situation. But I think that's enough about gameplay. I think the game really speaks for itself. And a reminder, like, it's $5. And the game will easily take you probably 4 to 5 hours to complete in the current early access version, which gives you Act 1 and 2. And that's crazy. For $5? $5, you get that much time to play. It's really unheard of with a lot of early access games. I don't know how many that I could really point out that give you that much gameplay for such a low price. The developers have shown they're very obviously incredibly talented, and I think if you're going to pick up any game during SHMUP Fest, you should pick up whatever game you want. But if it's a shmup, this might be the one that you want to pick up. I mean, there's other ones that I'll recommend, obviously, on my channel, and I've recommended several. This is one I definitely, you know, I highly recommend this one for anything you're going to buy that's $5. Even if this was $10, I would still say it's very, very worth it. It has been an absolute blast to play. I have enjoyed it quite thoroughly. You know, and I definitely think anybody that's a fan of a shoot 'em up is going to like it. And I just want to say, if like Hexage ever makes like a Star Wars shoot 'em up, I'm all over that, because I could see them doing it with this visual style. Their visual style is amazing. I mean, look at these enemies. They're like giant alien fish monsters, and we got these like skull creatures, but I don't really know what those are. But there is a lot of variety, which is makes me happy that it shows this level, because I wasn't sure if this level is going to show a lot, but it does. It shows so much stuff. I think there's a boss battle. If there is, it's not this guy. A little bit of variety, I guess, for fighting the bosses. And yeah, so the pink stuff that I've been picking up, because I really haven't talked about that at all, that is biomass. You pick up the biomass and use that for your upgrades. The green is for health. You know, because of certain upgrades I've got, that seems to be kind of why I get as much biomass as I do. It's not always great. Sometimes I don't get nearly as much, but for the most part, you consistently get a very decent amount to kind of keep you alive. And I guess those were the bosses, so that's like the end of the level. And in the interest of time, I feel like a 15-minute review for this is really plenty of time to say. And so just to kind of recap everything, the game's great. The game's awesome. It has a really cool world, which is, you know, Earth under alien invasion. It has a nice story. The artwork is amazing. A lot of the enemies look unique, and I don't think I've seen anything like it in a lot of places. Sound design is good. Like I said, the music could be better, but, you know, it's fine. The sheer amount of ships you have makes replayability really, really high. It is also multiplayer, so if you got another person that's, you know, sitting next to you, or you want to play remotely, you can do that, and it would probably be a blast. So my recommendation is, if you want a good shoot 'em up, Flying Tank is a game that is totally worth your time. and I highly recommend it. The link will be in the description. You are more than welcome to wishlist the game or purchase it if you so choose. Like I said, I recommend it. But you do what you want to do with your money. And I would like to thank the developers because they did give me a key to play this during SHMUP Fest, as well as a couple of keys to give away to some of my viewers, which I did on my Twitch channel. So that was super awesome of them. They definitely didn't have to, but they did, and I'm super thankful. And I know that like my watchers that got to see me play and get keys, you know, we're pretty thrilled, and a couple of them have been playing it already, so that's happy times. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.